The golden rays of the afternoon sun dyed the familiar village road. Lily appeared in her neat outfit, a lovely backpack on her small shoulders and a conical hat on her head, looking every bit like a diligent student. She strode confidently, her round eyes constantly observing her surroundings with curiosity and excitement, secretly thinking of the cozy home where her dad was waiting. When she arrived home, the house was silent as her dad had not yet returned from herding the goats. Instead of crying, Lily showed remarkable independence. She climbed onto a chair and sat properly at the table, just as she always did when her dad was around. Oh! Feeling a bit hungry after her school day, Lily nimbly went to the fridge and grabbed a carton of milk. Oh! Oh! However, an unexpected mishap occurred. While struggling to drink, Lily accidentally let the carton slip, and milk spilled all over the pristine white floor. Instantly, her radiant face changed, her eyes filled with worry and guilt. She stared at the spreading puddle, blaming herself for being so careless. Oh! Instead of panicking or running away to avoid a scolding, Lily displayed incredible intelligence and a sense of responsibility. I must clean this up before Dad gets back. That seemed to be her firm resolve. She hopped off the chair and dashed to find her helper. With intense focus, Lily gripped the handle, and diligently pushed it back and forth. She didn't just wipe it haphazardly, she showed unbelievable attention to detail. Lily constantly bent down, putting her face close to the floor to check for any leftover spots. Even the tough corners under the table and chair legs were persistently cleaned, revealing her naturally careful and tidy personality. Once the floor was sparkling again, Lily breathed a sigh of relief. She carefully put the mop back in its place and returned to her seat to wait. After waking up from a dream, which seemed to be a nightmare about her dad going to work far away, Lily was visibly frightened and anxious. She crept out of bed, constantly glancing at her dad to ensure he was still fast asleep. Lily headed toward the wooden table, her eyes fixed on the motorcycle keys, the inseparable object her dad always took whenever he prepared to leave. She picked them up delicately, holding her breath so the metal keys wouldn't clink together. Instead of hiding them in common places like a drawer or under a pillow, Lily showed a sly brilliance by choosing an unexpected spot, the trash can. She gently dropped the keys inside, hoping her dad would never think to look for something so important in such a dirty and hidden place. Lily wanted only one thing, to delay the moment her dad had to leave.
Lily, dậy rồi hả? Dậy nào đây? Dậy sớm này. Không ngủ tí nữa hả? Dậy sớm này. Đói bụng chưa? Đi mua gì ăn đi ha? Đi. Đi mua gì ăn nhé. Dậy thôi ha. Dậy thôi. Cắt chân lại nhé. Đừng đi lại nhé. Đi ra đây, đi ra đây. Rất lặng nha, gọn gàng nào. Đi, đi đi. Đi này. Đi lên nhà này, đi. Đây chưa? Ra đây ngồi này, các bạn này. Đây 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 đây. Đây đi. Con đi đâu đấy? Đi đâu đấy? Ly ở đây nhá. Ngồi đi chơi đi chưa? Phải đi chợ nhá. Ha? Thấy chưa? Để có cất mũ cho Ly nhá. Thôi ngồi đây chơi đi ha. Phải đi tìm chìa khóa đi chợ tí nhé.
When her dad woke up and began frantically searching for the keys to go to the market, Lily sat on the bed with an unusually calm expression. She watched his every move like an innocent spectator, pretending to know nothing. However, her initial satisfaction quickly faded when she saw her dad becoming increasingly restless and worried. Lily's heart began to flutter with unease. A poignant detail made her flinch. She looked toward the surveillance camera in the room. A new fear struck her. Had her secret actions been recorded?
Hello. Mẹ hả? Dạ. Dạ.
Would her dad scold her if he checked the footage? The struggle between her desire to keep him home and the fear of being caught caused her expression to shift continuously from anxiety to remorse. Unable to bear watching her dad search in vain, Lily decided to end the game. She went to the trash can, picked up the keys, and handed them directly to him.
Ba cảm ơn nhé. Ở đâu đấy? Ở đâu đấy? Hả? Tìm thấy ở đâu đấy? Tìm thấy này ở đâu đây?
Although her dad asked suspiciously, "Where did you find these?" The joy on his face when he recovered them made Lily feel much
Cho
lighter.
anh bà Ly. Thôi bây giờ bà cho Ly đi cùng nhé. Bà cho
Her
Ly đi
dad
chơi với ba
had
nhé.
no idea
Mua
that
đồ
the
ăn nhé.
culprit was the
Được.
little girl standing before him. He simply thought Lily had lent a helping hand. To reward her, he took Lily along to the market.
Đây, mũ này, mũ đây Ly.
That act of hiding the keys wasn't out of naughtiness, but an expression of intense love. She simply wanted to hold on to her dad for a little longer.
Đúng rồi đấy. Rồi, đi ra xe, đi ra xe. Lên xe ngồi đi, lên trên ngồi. Nè, đi này. Ngồi đây con, ngồi đây. Rồi, đừng có làm. Rồi, cẩn thận nhá, đi chắc tay ha.
Sitting on the back of the bike, hugging his back tightly, Lily felt immensely happy. At that moment, Lily's room looked like a battlefield that had just ended.
Ly ơi, có bác bảo này.
Lily didn't even notice the mess until her dad walked in.
Sao hả? Lên đây bác bảo.
On the cozy bed, clothes lay scattered like mini mountains. On the floor, t-shirts were strewn everywhere. Standing in the middle of the maze of belongings, her dad didn't get angry. He called her into the room, his eyes affectionate yet serious. Placing a hand on her shoulder, he gently said, "Lily, a room is like a house for your dreams. If you leave things messy like this, beautiful dreams won't have a place to visit. Let's keep this house clean together, okay?"
Đây nè, kia kìa, thấy không? Ly thấy không? Bừa bộn không?
That soft reminder made Lily feel a sudden wave of regret. She looked around and realized how careless she had been. With a determined nod, Lily began her mission to rescue her room. She sprang into action. She moved toward the bed, her small hands nimbly gathering every shirt and pair of pants lying in disarray. Each item she picked up felt like an apology to her room. Lily pulled the familiar plastic basket into the center of the floor. She carefully folded the gathered clothes into the basket. As it filled up, the floor and the bed began to regain their neatness. Taking charge of the cleaning made Lily feel very grown up. Not stopping at just gathering the clothes, Lily used all her might to push the heavy basket toward the washing machine. The most important moment came when Lily personally grabbed handfuls of clothes to put into the drum. She stood on her tiptoes, carefully pressing the buttons on the control panel like a real engineer. As the machine began to hum, Lily smiled with pride. She understood that tidying up wasn't just about cleaning a space. It was her way of caring for her environment and making her dad feel proud of her. The next morning, the house was unusually quiet. Dad had left early. Out of habit, the little girl waddled on bare feet to the refrigerator to grab a carton of cold milk. The sweet, creamy taste soothed her growling stomach, but it couldn't quite fill the emptiness echoing through the house. After finishing her milk, Lily climbed onto the beanbag chair in the living room. She lay there, her round eyes fixed on the iron gate. Every passing engine, every bird chirping in the garden made Lily's heart skip a beat, thinking it was the sound of Dad's car. But as the clock ticked away, the familiar figure remained nowhere to be seen. Gradually, the waiting transformed into a mischievous idea. Lily jumped up, her eyes sparkling. "I'll prepare a surprise for Dad." She dashed into the kitchen, her mind filled with visions of a special dish. Lily stood on her tiptoes, reaching for the highest cabinet to explore. Then disaster struck in an instant. A bag of flour was nudged, tumbling down from above and covering her small face in white, spilling across the kitchen floor like a sudden snowstorm.
Oh my God!
Lily froze, her heart pounding with panic. Looking at the mess at her feet, she scrambled to grab a towel, desperately trying to clean up the evidence. However, her tiny hands only made the flour smear further. Just then, the clatter of the gate sounded. Dad was home.
Ly ơi, Ly.
In a panic, Lily found the only hiding spot she could, under the kitchen sink. She curled up and held her breath, hoping the darkness under the cabinet would hide her flour-streaked face.
Đâu rồi? Ủa, đâu rồi? Ly ơi, Ly, bố về nè. Ly ơi, Ly, đâu rồi?
Dad's footsteps approached the kitchen and stopped.
Ly bố tùm lum này. Ly ơi, Ly, làm gì đấy?
Lily squeezed her eyes shut, bracing herself for a scolding.
Đây.
Lily, come out here to Dad.
Ui trời ơi, sao mặt mũi bần thế này?
Lily crept
hả?
out, her
Bạn
head
bột này.
bowed and shoulders trembling slightly with fear. Dad looked at the little kitten covered in flour, offered a soft smile, and knelt down.
Sao? Ông muốn làm bánh
He didn't
hả?
scold her for the
Hả?
mess. Instead,
Bánh gọi ba
he
nha.
quietly took Lily's
Nè,
hand
Lily nha.
and helped her clean up the wreckage.
Quên mất nhỉ. Ra đây bà làm bánh nhá. Ra đây ngồi bà làm bánh nhá. Đây, ngồi đây ha. Ngồi xem
He
nào.
picked her up and tenderly used a paper towel to wipe the fine powder from her face, nose, and tiny fingers.
Thôi để rồi lau tay sạch sẽ để ba với Ly làm bánh nhá, thấy chưa?
The warmth of Dad's hands and his gentle touch made Lily's fear vanish completely. It turned out that after all her clumsiness, Dad's arms were still the safest and most peaceful place of all.
Cái áo bụi quá. Cái áo bụi quá ha. Rồi xong ba làm bánh cho Ly nhá. Ba chỉ đi làm bánh nhá. Ly muốn làm bánh đúng không? Này làm bánh gì? Bánh hấp nhá. Được không? Làm bánh hấp nhá. Con cầm lấy. Con lau đi. Giờ mình ăn nhá. Ha. Cái là bắt được rồi đấy. Này là chín rồi đấy. Con ngồi đây con. Ngồi đây. Ngồi đây chờ bà tí nha. Này, qua đây con. Qua đây. Ui, nóng lắm, nóng lắm. Wow. Wow. Rồi. Được không? Đó. Rồi chào bà tí nha, bỏ cái ly nha. Tí bỏ cái nè, cầm nữa nè. Không sợ. Đây, bỏ đây nhá. Đây, bỏ đây. Đi bỏ xuống dưới đi con, bỏ xuống dưới đây. Đây nữa. Đây nữa con. Đúng rồi. Đây nữa con. Đúng rồi. Bỏ đây. Đấy, đúng rồi. Đó. Ăn đi con. Ăn đi, ăn đi, ăn đi. Kìa. Giỏi. Rồi đi nè. Con xuống ghế đi. Giỏi quá. Đúng rồi. Ngon quá. Ôi trời ơi. Ngon quá. Ngon quá Ly. Đúng rồi. Đẹp quá. Đúng rồi, ăn từ từ thôi nhé. Bye. Đi chào mọi người nào. Đi chào đấy con. Chào nào. Chào đâu? Chào đây này. Đó. Bye bye. Ngon quá hả Ly? Để ba làm nhiều cho Ly ăn nhé. Ồ, Ly giỏi quá. Đúng rồi.
Returning home after a gardening session, the busy dad headed straight to the kitchen to prepare lunch. He reminded his little daughter, "Lily, go downstairs and wash your hands and feet while I cook, okay?" Lily obediently went to the bathroom. However, when she saw the pile of clothes, a grown-up thought popped into her head. My clothes haven't been washed yet. They're so dirty. Instead of waiting for her dad or ignoring the mess, Lily decided, I have to do something. With a determined look, she gathered all the dirty clothes into a plastic basket. And dragged the heavy load out to the front yard.
Ủa, Ly làm gì trời?
Outside, Lily began her laundry mission. Her tiny hands moved quickly, scrubbing every spot with a focused and serious expression, just like she had seen her dad do. In the kitchen, Dad started to wonder. Lily had been gone for quite a while. He decided to go check on her. Walking out to the yard, Lily was wrestling with a basin of clothes. However, he noticed a small problem.
Giỏi quá, để ba lấy xà bông nhé. Cái này thiếu xà bông đi nhá. Ngồi im đó lấy xà bông ra.
Dad quickly brought the detergent and showed her how to use it. To make clothes smell fresh and clean, we need this. With the soap added, the basin filled with white bubbles. Lily got even more excited, scrubbing with energy as the water splashed around, accompanied by her dad's encouraging laughter. Looking at his capable daughter, Dad couldn't hide his pride. There really is nothing Lily can't do. After a while, the two of them checked their work. Dad held up a shirt and admired it. Wow, I think this is squeaky clean.
Đúng rồi, đứa này cho bạn ạ. Rồi. Đây đi, cái này đi. Đây.
Seeing that she had worked hard in the garden and with the laundry, Dad patted Lily's head affectionately. Thank you for helping me, Lily. You did a great job.
Ly giỏi quá hả Ly? Hả? Ừ?
Now go inside and rest. I'll finish the rest.
Bà để đây nhá. Thôi con vào ăn đi, bà ăn đồ ăn đi nhá. Nhá. Đi vào ăn sáng đi con. Bà để đồ ăn.
Lily ran inside and climbed onto her favorite chair. On the table, Dad had prepared a plate of fresh fruit as a sweet reward. She picked up a fork and relaxed, enjoying every cool piece of fruit. From afar, Dad's voice called out with care. Eat slowly, sweetie, or you'll choke. Lily squinted her eyes in a smile, enjoying her moment of relaxation after a morning of hard work.
Làm bánh nhá Ly nhá. Bên này đi ơi, qua đây đi ơi. Cao quá ha. Cho bây giờ mình đặt cắt cỏ Ly nhá. Ôi, đổ Ly ơi, Ly.
That afternoon, as the sunlight softened, Dad and Lily went out to the garden together.
Đây này con. Đang vào đây. Rồi, vào đây. Vào đi. Đấy. Vào mở cửa đi. Vào mở cửa lấy trứng đi. Nghe. Nè. Rồi, mở đi. Đúng rồi. Đáng lấy trứng nha Ly nha. Lấy trứng nhá. Lấy trứng về làm bánh ăn nhá, được không? Đây con lấy trứng đi. Trứng bỏ đây. Bỏ đây con. Bạn nhanh gà mẹ về nào. Nhanh lên bỏ đây. Bỏ đây con. Đấy nơi nào.
Lily trotted happily beside Dad. They went into the chicken coop to collect eggs. Lily carefully picked up each egg and gently placed it into a small basket.
Được không? Để bỏ nữa đi con. Nhanh gà mẹ về. Đúng rồi, đấy đi. Đúng rồi.
She moved slowly and focused, afraid the eggs might break. Dad watched her with a proud smile.
Thôi ha, đi ha. Rồi hả? Lấy nữa hả? Đây con cầm lấy. Đây, cầm lấy. Rồi đi nè, đi. Đi, nghe không?
After collecting the eggs, they returned home and went into the kitchen. They decided to make a cake together.
Đi giúp ba làm trứng hả? Làm trứng hả? Đẹp quá ha Ly. Đảo đều đó.
Dad placed a large bowl on the table and cracked the eggs into it, but just as he was about to add flour, oh no, the flour was gone.
Cái bột nó rồi. Cái bột nó rồi. Đây. Đưa ba nào. Cái bột nó rồi. Và em có tìm bột nhé. Tìm bột sao? Cái này mua bột nhé. Đi chờ ba nhé. Sẽ còn tìm bột nhé. Chết rồi. Chết rồi. Thì tìm đâu đây? Hết rồi. Hết rồi không phải đâu. Tôi chờ xíu gì về tao vừa tìm gì nhé. Rồi đi bột làm bánh cho đi nhé. Được không? Đi giỏi nhé. Đừng buồn chưa? Đây, chơi nhé. Chơi nhé, tí gì về bảo ba nhé, được chưa?
Dad told Lily to stay at home while he went out to buy some. Time passed, and Lily waited for a long time. She started to worry and thought she could help Dad. Lily quickly put on her hat, grabbed her backpack, and decided to go out to buy the flour herself.
Đi đâu đây? Còn mua gì? Đấy, thích mua gì mình lấy đi.
At the grocery store, Lily stood in front of the shelves, carefully searching for flour. She walked back and forth, checking each package.
Còn mua bánh à? Này cũng ngon. Bà thích loại nào? Loại này hả? Này có ngon không? Chưa khui được đâu. Đó, đừng nói lộn. Đâu? Thích bánh này không?
After a while, she finally found what she needed.
Đấy, bà qua xem cái kia kìa, cái kia cũng được. Không, cái đó chắc không hợp với bạn đâu. Thôi, bạn lấy cái này nè, tôi thấy cái này ngon hơn nè. Là bạn chọn món này đúng không?
Lily happily took the flour, pulled out money from her pocket, paid the shopkeeper, and ran home holding the bag tightly.
Có tiền không? Không, không, tiền á. Tiền của bạn đâu? Bạn đi mua có mang theo tiền không? Tiền của bạn đâu? Trong túi bạn có đem theo tiền không? Ừ? Có tiền mới mua được cái này. Nè, bột mì này nè, về có tiền. Nè, bột này về làm bánh nè. Tiền để đâu rồi? Có mang tiền trong ba lô không? Đâu, để xem nữa nè. Có tiền không? Tiền trong này. Trong này có tiền không? À, để chú xem nào, trong này cũng có tiền không? Đấy, coi thử. Đấy, có tiền kìa. Giỏi, có đem tiền hả? Ở đây. Nè, bánh của con nè, bột của con nè. Nè, để đó. Chú đeo cái túi rồi cho con đi về nghe. Rồi, đây. Rồi nón vào về để nắng. Bạn mang bột về đi. Đi đường cẩn thận nha. Bye bye.
As soon as she arrived, Lily rushed into the kitchen and handed the flour to Dad. Dad was surprised and very happy. He gently patted Lily's head and praised her for being clever and helpful.
Chà. Ai đi đi mua bột đấy hả? Ai đi mua bột đây? Ai cho? Rồi cái mũi vào này. Ui luôn hả? Rồi làm bột bánh ha. Bây giờ phải làm bánh đi nhé. Thao đúng hẳn như vậy các bạn, thao đúng này. Đây là cắt đó.
Then the two continued making the cake together. Lily stood beside Dad, helping mix the batter. The white flour slowly became smooth and fragrant. Laughter filled the kitchen.
Đấy, đảo này ha. Cái làm bánh mà. Thấy không? Được không? Bánh vàng đẹp lắm liền. Bánh màu vàng đẹp lắm, chưa? Cho ra bàn đi nha. Xúc ra bàn đi. Lấy bột ly nhá. Đây. Tay đi đâu? Tay kia nữa. Sao tay thở dính tay đi nhá. Nào, chúng ta đi ngồi này. Vào đây. 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 Này. Đây này. Đây nhá. Đây. Đúng là hấp, đặt đi. Này, hấp. Nhà bột đi. Đúng rồi. Đó, nhà đi không? Đúng rồi, nhà đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, giỏi quá. Nhà đi không? Đúng rồi. Nhảy rồi, đúng rồi. Nhấc lên nè, nhấc. Đập xuống. Đúng rồi, nhấc lên. Đi lên, nhấc. Đúng rồi, cả. Đúng rồi, đập xuống. Đúng rồi. Nhấc lên cao đi. Đi lên, nhấc lên, đập xuống. Đúng rồi, nhấc lên, đập xuống. Một đi nhé. Đây ly này. Đẹp chưa? Đẹp chưa này? bánh đẹp quá. Cái này nó coi. Trời, dính hết tay rồi nè. Đây, con nào đi. Đấy. Đây nhé, đây nè. Rồi cái bò này vào cho ba nè, bỏ kia vào đây. Đấy.
When everything was ready, Dad placed the cake into a pot to steam.
Rồi, xong rồi. Ui trời. Đây nha. Đây mày lau tay chân lên ly nè. Thôi đừng ăn nữa, tí nữa bạn bánh chín ăn nhé. Tí nữa bạn chân tay, thấy không? Xong rồi đây. Để túi cho bạn. Để túi đây.
While waiting, they played and chatted together. Soon, the cake was ready.
Chào bà tí nhé.
Dad took it out, gently blew on it to cool it down, and gave it to Lily.
Nè. Chờ đi. Khoan đâu, đúng rồi, khoan nha. Mình không bắt, chờ đi. Chờ tí nha. Nóng lắm, chờ xíu, muốn đồ cá ha. Chà, sao quá hả? Cái này nhá.
Lily held the warm cake and took small bites, finding it incredibly delicious. Her face glowed with happiness. The sweet smell of cake filled the small kitchen, along with the simple yet warm love shared between Lily and her dad.
Ăn cần dính áo nào. Ăn chậm thôi. Ăn con. Ngon hả Ly? Ngon quá hả? Em thì thích ăn bánh các bạn. Ngon ha? Đây hả? Ăn dưới kìa. Ngon ha? Ngon không? Rồi, hết sạch cái bánh luôn. Ăn chưa? Ôi, trời ơi. Ngon quá hả Ly? Hả? Trời, ngon quá. Đúng rồi, đây cái bà lâu nè.
Lily pointed excitedly at a picture, but just as she was about to speak, her dad suddenly winced, his other hand quickly moving to his stomach. Oh, he groaned softly.
Không được uống nha. Nhớ chưa? Ngoan, ngoan nào.
Before leaving, he pointed
Well, then,
seriously
yeah,
at the
okay, yeah.
nearly full coffee cup
Well,
on the
done, yeah.
table. Lily, he instructed firmly, this is coffee for grown-ups. You absolutely must not try it. She watched her dad's back disappear. A minute passed, then 5. The smell of coffee still lingered around her nose. What does it taste like that makes Dad like it so much every morning? Lily wondered. Why does he like this dark, dark liquid? Her eyes kept glancing toward the brown glass cup on the table. A war began in her little heart. On one side, her promise to her dad. On the other, an uncontrollable curiosity. Unable to stand it any longer, Lily cautiously stood up. She tiptoed, stepping lightly as a cat toward the table. She craned her neck, straining her ears to listen for any sound from downstairs. Dead silent. Dad wasn't back yet. Lily picked up the small silver spoon next to the cup. Trembling, she scooped up a tiny bit of the dark liquid. She brought it to her lips. She told herself and decided to try another bigger spoonful. This time, as she pulled the spoon out, startled by the bitterness, her trembling hand knocked hard against the side of the cup. Crash! The heavy glass cup tilted and whoosh! All the dark swirling coffee spilled out onto the glass table. Lily froze, stunned for a few seconds. The coffee cup was now empty, lying on its side in a dark black puddle. Her face went pale. Panicked, she quickly set the cup upright, then scrambled to the kitchen and grabbed a cleaning cloth. She returned and began to scrub. Wiping the glass table over and over, her breath coming in short, frightened gasps. Thankfully, after a moment of hard work, the table was sparkling again. Oh no! Her dad's book! Lily was horrified. Using all her strength, she awkwardly carried the heavy book out to the porch. She placed it on a wooden chair, hoping the warm sun would dry it out quickly. Rushing back inside, Lily stood panting, her heart still racing. Lily ran to the refrigerator, pulled the door open, and grabbed a cold can of Coca-Cola. This color? It's dark like coffee. She carefully poured the Coca-Cola into the very same cup, trying to fill it to the exact same level as before. The hissing of the carbonation faded, leaving behind a dark brown liquid that looked just like the original coffee. Finished, Lily ran to hide the empty can, then dashed back to the sofa. She sat down and pretended as if nothing had happened. Just then, the sound of her dad's footsteps approached. He walked in, smiling when he saw his daughter still sitting quietly. He gently stroked Lily's head.
Lát thử
He
đi sau
glanced
nhé.
at the table, saw the coffee cup was
cà phê
still
đại
full,
cái.
picked it up, and took a large, relaxed sip.
Cà phê thì bị coca Lý. Sao đấy?
Immediately,
Coca
he
này.
froze. A sharp
Lily,
sweetness and
có pha gì
cold
đây không bạn?
fizz shot up his nose instead of
Mùi
the
ngộ quá.
familiar hot bitterness. He stared at the cup, which was now fizzing slightly, and then looked
làm gì
over
cơ?
at Lily.
Ừ.
He called her name very softly. Lily flinched.
Cái gì
She
lạ quá đi
slowly,
ạ.
very
Lily,
slowly,
lạ lắm nha. Ủa? Con sách
lifted
ba
her
đi.
head,
Ừ?
not
Sách ba
daring
đâu?
to look directly into her
Đâu rồi?
dad's eyes.
Hả?
His gaze swept from the table, then out to the
Sách ba đâu đi?
porch,
Ừ?
where his book was lying in
Hả?
the sun.
Con bỏ đâu rồi?
He understood everything. After hanging the clothes, Dad went to the kitchen to cook lunch. He opened the rice bin, but it was empty except for one small handful.
Hôm nay hết gạo đi đi. Ha.
He sighed and checked his old wallet.
Tiền đi lấy gạo nhé.
There were only a few small bills inside, not enough to buy more rice.
Ủa? Ha. Không đủ đâu. Thôi, hôm nay không đủ tiền mua gạo rồi. Ba còn mỗi 5.000 thôi Ly à.
A worried look crossed his
Không
face.
đủ đâu. Tôi đi ở nhà nhé. Giờ đi ở nhà bà nhé. Ba đi làm rồi tiền mua đồ ăn nhé. Ha. Để tạm đây ha.
Lily,
Bà nhé.
Dad said gently, please stay here and study. I'm going to the garden to find vegetables to sell. We need money for rice. Lily looked up and saw the worry in his eyes, even though he tried to hide it.
Ly,
Okay, Dad, be careful, she said.
Ly ở nhà nhé.
Dad put on his hat, grabbed a hoe, and walked silently to the garden. Lily tried to focus on her laptop lesson, but she kept thinking about her dad. Suddenly, a video of a street performer playing guitar popped up. An idea sparked. She looked at her small wooden guitar, a special gift from her dad. I have to help Dad, she thought. Lily shut the laptop, grabbed her guitar, and put on her straw hat. She ran all the way to the small, busy market. Oh! She found a corner, placed her hat on the ground upside down, and took a deep breath. She began to play.
Hi.
But people just hurried past.
Dễ thương quá đi.
Her music was quiet and hesitant, lost in the noise of the market. This time, the music was not timid. It was strong and clear. The new energy made people stop and listen.
Hi. Hi.
The first coin landed in her hat
Thank
with
you.
a clink, then a second and a third. People smiled and put money in her hat. Soon her hat was full of small change. Thank you, Lily whispered, her face red with happiness.
Thank you.
Wow, what's up, amazing.
She gathered the money and ran to the general store.
Mua gì đó Lily? Hôm nay cửa hàng tôi có cam ngọt lắm. Cậu ăn thử đi, ngọt lắm. Nếu chua tôi sẽ hoàn tiền cho. Cam ngọt lắm Lily. Bạn mua thử đi. Nếu chua tôi sẽ hoàn tiền lại cho bạn.
She used some of the money to buy some juicy oranges, the kind her dad loved but rarely bought. Holding the oranges, Lily ran straight to the garden. Dad! She called.
Ủa?
He looked
Đi đâu
up,
bán vậy Ly?
surprised to see her.
Bán gì cho ai đây?
Lily,
Bán cho ba hả?
where did you get the money for
Hả?
this?
Bán cho ba hả? Ủa tiền của con ở đâu đây? Ở đâu có tiền này? Tiền này ở đâu?
Lily, still breathing hard, told him the whole story. The laptop idea, the failed first attempt, and her success with the new song.
Lily làm cái xí nữa là Lily giỏi nhỉ?
Dad listened, speechless.
Có đây của con
He
nhé.
pulled his little girl into a tight hug.
Đổi nó lại đi. Đổi cho mát nhá, đúng rồi. Thôi đi nào, đi đây ăn nào. Qua đây, đây. Qua đây ngồi này. Đây, ngồi đây. Ngồi đây nhá. Ngồi đây. Bóc cái này cho Ly nhá. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi, bỏ cái đàn cho Ly nhá. Rồi. Bỏ đây cho con nhá. Một cái đàn đẹp nhá.
Then he gently released her and picked up an orange. His rough hands peeled it, and he handed the first slice to Lily.
Chờ xíu. Mình chờ xíu. Đây.
You eat this, he said. It's a reward for my great guitarist.
Ba miếng nhá.
Lily smiled, her eyes crinkling, and took the slice. They sat together, eating the sweet, juicy orange. It was the most memorable lunch of their lives, a mix of sweetness, sweat, and happiness. The door creaked open. Lily, home from school in her uniform, scampered into the house.
Vào đây nha. Chưa? Đưa cặp đây.
As was her routine, she adeptly shrugged the heavy backpack off her shoulders. Dad smiled, took the backpack, and hung it neatly on the hook.
Vào tủ lạnh đi.
Immediately, Lily ran to the refrigerator, stood on her tiptoes to open the door, and took out a carton of fresh milk. Dad, pour me some milk. Dad gently took a glass, pouring the pure white milk for her.
Rồi.
Lily put a straw in and took a deep sip. While his little daughter was refueling, Dad quietly went downstairs to prepare a few things. Perhaps because she was so thirsty, Lily drank a bit too quickly. A white splash of milk spread across the wooden table. Lily startled. Oh no! But she didn't cry. She knew what to do.
Uh-oh.
Quick as a squirrel, Lily ran to get a cleaning cloth and diligently wiped the spill clean.
Uh-oh.
When she was done, she held the milk-soaked cloth and ran to find her dad.
Đi đâu đây?
Dad,
Đi
I
qua đây à?
accidentally spilled the milk. Can you please wash this cloth for me? Lily happily returned to the living room. But just as she sat down, she felt something strange.
Uh-oh.
Achoo! And then achoo! Again. She was sneezing constantly. Perhaps the change in weather had given her a cold. Mindfully, Lily ran to the tissue box, pulled out a few, and wiped her own nose. When she was done, she even carefully threw the dirty tissues into the trash can before wandering into the bedroom. A sudden chill made her climb right onto the bed, seeking warmth from her beloved blanket and curling up into a small ball. A moment later, Dad finished washing the cloth. He came upstairs but didn't see his daughter. "Lily?" he called. There was no answer. He gently pushed open the bedroom door
Lily.
and saw a small lump of blanket, shivering slightly.
Lily,
He walked over
sao vậy?
and softly lifted the blanket.
sao nằm đây?
Lily's face was flushed red,
Sao đây?
her eyes heavy-lidded and weary. The father's
vậy?
heart clenched. He
Ủa
was
à?
truly worried.
Vì sao đây? Bố mà tôi nằm ngủ được không? Bố nằm ngủ hả? Mệt hả? Có mệt hả?
"You have a fever," he whispered, rushing to find the thermometer.
Rồi, ba xe nào? Ba xe 4 thằng à? Ba xe nào?
A beep sounded,
Trời ơi.
confirming his fear.
Ổn mà đấy nghe chưa? Nè, ổn rồi nè, thấy không? Thấy chưa? Đi nằm ngoan nhá. Nằm xuống con, nằm xuống. Thôi nằm đi.
Dad hurried to get a cooling fever patch, gently
Ngoan nhá,
placing
bà
it
dán
on
cho
his
Lily nhá.
daughter's forehead.
Hạ sốt nha. Đây con nằm xuống đi, con nằm xuống. Đúng rồi. Đó. Rồi con nằm đây. Ngoan nhá. Cái này nó mau hết lắm, thấy chưa? Đây, uống thuốc. Sao đâu, thuốc nhé. nằm xuống, nằm xuống bà lấy cho nhé.
Then carefully measured a spoonful of cold and flu syrup.
Lily dậy đi này. Bà mua
There's
thuốc
a
ho
good
Lily
girl,
này.
he soothed.
Lily uống đi,
Drink
uống
some
xíu thôi.
medicine so you can get better soon.
Con bị sao vậy? Ốm à? Hai ba xem nào. Vì sao đây? Sao mà mệt vậy? Sao mà nằm đây? Ừ? Sao nằm đây Lily? Lily dậy đi này. Bà mua thuốc ho Lily này. Lily uống đi, uống một xíu thôi. Con ốm à? Ốm hả? Đâu bà xem nào. Lily dậy đi này. Bà mua thuốc ho Lily này. Sao được không? Ừ. Siro mật ong đấy. Ừ. Ừ, có cái nào để bà xúc cho nhé. Đúng rồi. Mau khỏe chưa? Siro này nó không phải ho đấy. Ho cảm đấy. Ừ, đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Ừ, đúng rồi. Đi giỏi lắm, đúng rồi. Được rồi ha. Nó nằm đi nào, đây nó nằm xuống, nằm xuống. Ừ. Rồi, có xem nào. Ừ, đúng rồi đấy. Rồi, ngoan ngoan ha. Đúng rồi, đấy.
While Lily drifted off to sleep from exhaustion, Dad did not rest. He quietly went out to the garden, where the orange tree was heavy with fruit. He picked the juiciest oranges, brought them inside, and carefully squeezed a glass of fresh juice. He carried the
Lily.
glass into the room, gently helped Lily sit up, and said, "Drink some orange juice to get your strength
đấy.
back."
Ngon không? Ừ. Ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy. Đúng
The
rồi.
light, sweet taste of the orange soothed Lily's raw throat.
Chậm thôi nhé. Ừ. Ngon quá hả? Ừ. Cao mà làm ngon quá hả? Ừ. Hết chưa? Hết chưa? Rồi, đứa ba nào. Rồi, ngồi im này, con ngồi im nhé. À. Ừ. À. Giỏi lắm, đúng rồi, đi giỏi lắm. Ngoan nhé. Đây đây, đây đây. Đúng rồi.
The next morning, sunlight streamed through the crack in the door. Lily woke up. The house was quiet. Dad had already gone out to the garden to work early. The fever had subsided, but her body still felt lethargic. Lily lay in bed for a moment, then mustered the strength to sit up. She slowly crawled over to the windowsill, sat there, and looked out at the garden. Under the sun, her dad's familiar back was diligently hoeing the earth. Seeing her dad working so hard, her heart swelled with a powerful love. Even though she was sick, she still wanted to lend a hand. With that thought, Lily took her small basket. And with heavy steps, slowly walked out to where her dad was working.
Ủa, đi đâu Ly?
Dad
Hả?
was focused on the vegetable patch when he suddenly
Mai
heard
gọi đi đâu đây? Đi
footsteps.
đi ăn hả?
He turned around
Đang mệt vì
and was
đâu?
startled.
Ở nhà nghỉ đi chứ.
Lily,
Ở nhà nằm ngủ
why
đi
are
chứ.
you
Cho
out
khỏe
here?
nha.
You're still
Đi về,
sick.
đi về ba. Rồi ba kiếm gì cho Ly ăn nhá. Thấy chưa?
He swept his little girl up into his arms. My good girl, he said, his voice full of love.
Không ra ngoài ốm thì sao? Hả?
Your job right now is to rest. You can help Dad only after you're all better.
Ốm thì ở
He
nhà nằm
carried
nghỉ
Lily
chưa?
back into the house
Có gì
and
gọi
gently
nhá.
laid her
Được
down.
không? Này, nằm đây, nằm xuống. Nằm đây. Rồi. Đây, xem nào. Nằm nghỉ đi. Chờ ba tí ba lấy thuốc cho uống nhá. Được không? Nhá. Chờ ba tí nhá. Tôi nằm đây nhá, để bà lấy thuốc cho Ly nhá. Được chưa? Chờ ba tí. Chờ ba tí. Chờ ba tí.
Dad checked her temperature again and gave her another dose of medicine.
Bình thường nhá. Chỉ ho là mệt thôi chưa? Tôi nằm nghỉ đi nhá. Chờ ba tí bà lấy thuốc nhá. Này, để đuôi vào. Thêm ít nữa nhá. Nhá. Uống này nhanh khỏi nghe chưa? Ha. Thôi ngủ đi, ngủ đi, ngủ xíu đi ha. Ngủ xíu đi nhá. Ngủ xíu đi ha. Ngủ xíu đi, ba kiếm gì cho Ly ăn nhé, được không? Con ngủ xíu đi con, ha. Đây, ngoài đi, ha.
You rest, okay? I'm just going out to the garden for a moment. I'll be right back. Lily obediently nodded. Dad went out to the garden again. This time, he didn't hoe the earth. He went straight to the tangerine tree. He picked a bunch of ripe golden yellow tangerines and brought them back for his little princess. When Dad returned, Lily was feeling a bit better. She was sitting on the sofa waiting for him.
Đợi ba tí nhé. Ba lấy can và đưa đi này ha. Rồi đây ha. Rồi, sao đỡ mẹ chưa? Con đỡ mẹ chưa? Đỡ rồi hả? Ồ, thôi được rồi. Ba lấy can đưa đi nhá. Nhá. Sao? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt à? Vẫn mệt hả? Hả? Ho tí thôi nhỉ? Thôi được rồi. Đây, nó can ra đi đây. Mới bắt này, thấy không? Ngồi yên nữa nhé.
Dad sat down beside her, holding a tangerine. His rough, calloused hands carefully peeled the skin, meticulously removed every strand of white pith, and then separated each sweet, juicy segment, handing them one by one to Lily.
Rồi, đây, mình đây ha.
Lily accepted them, eating with relish. The sweet taste of the tangerine melted in her mouth, and her heart melted from her father's gentle care. She knew that as long as Dad was here, she would be healthy again soon.
Đỡ mẹ chưa? Chắc là đỡ mẹ rồi đúng không? Được không Ly? Ngon không?